If you can't get over what the narcissist did to you, it could be like a canon event in your life. Even though they destroyed my life and left me a puddle of my old self, I believe it was one of, if not the most important thing that ever happened to me in my life. I'm the best version of myself I've ever been because of the traumatic, awful experience I dealt with a narcissist. When I met them, I was very lost. And that's not to say that I'm just some expert on everything now, but I've progressed more in the time after breaking up with the narcissist than I've ever progressed in my life. It was the event that sparked change in my life that, in a sense, I started to grow up. When I met the narcissist, I was going out a lot. I was going to bars, I was drinking, I was a 29-year-old, but I was acting like a 21-year-old or a 17-year-old in high school, the cool kids who would always go out and drink and do all those things. And when I met the narcissist, she was 25 and she was a 25-year-old child. As we may all know, narcissists, at least on an emotional, point of view, they are children. They have those little rage fits. They yell at you and belittle you, and when you really observe a narcissist from a sober perspective, from the lens of someone who has done the work on themselves, they act like little kids, which is really sad. It's arrested development. And when I met her, I instantly fell in love because she was just like me in a lot of ways. And after the love bombing, after all the awful things, right, the cycle that they all put us through, the trauma was so intense that it woke me up from this state of immaturity that I was in for 30 years. I was 29 years old. A lot of people will call me crazy or say that it just wasn't worth it. And sometimes I wonder if it was worth it, because ignorance sometimes is bliss. I was pretty happy, that hedonistic lifestyle that I was living, that a lot of narcissists live, that it's all about me. Let's get drunk on a Tuesday. It's all about my needs and screw everyone else. People do it because it's fun. People do it because people gravitate towards the laziness and low-hanging fruit. But it wasn't who I truly wanted to be. A lot of content creators will tell you the same thing, but they never give you advice on how to fix it. They tell you the narcissist is bad, that what they did to you was awful, that they're miserable, and that I'm sad, and how it affected them. And they might give you some examples of things you could do. But again, they're just giving you examples of how to dissociate more. What that experience did to me was force me to deal with reality. I could no longer, no matter after the narcissist broke up with me, I tried to drink it away. I tried to run away from it. But it was such a intense experience that I couldn't do it. It was something about my mind forced me to deal with it. And the standard advice is, well, you just met a bad person. Go back to being that same person you were. It's all the narcissist's fault. And while the better thing to do is to pick up the pieces of your broken heart, examine what aspects of your life, your personality caused you to get into this situation, why you allowed it to go on for so long, why are you allowing it to still affect you, process it, and instead of ruminating on the sadness and the woe is me, go out there and use that pain and that suffering as a learning experience. Use it to become a better person, because everyone's out for revenge on the narcissist. Everyone's trying to get them back. And if you want to do that, that's okay. What's not okay is, what lets them win is you sitting at home being sad, you being stuck and just waiting for them to text you back. In a lot of ways, I'm thankful. Even though it put me through the ringer, through one of the most intense, depressing times of my life, I came out of it on top. And it's an ongoing process. Life is an ongoing process. You're going to make more mistakes. It's one of the scary realizations about dealing with a narcissist is I realized there's a lot of gaps in my awareness, a lot of gaps in my knowledge, and I really need to tighten it up. It's running a very loose ship. But now everything is better. My finances are better. It's easy to get better when the narcissist takes almost everything from you, right? When you hit rock bottom, you have nowhere to go but up. But my finances are better. My relationships are better. The way I talk to people, the way I work, everything is more skilled and precise, because I learned that the way I was dealing with reality was it was inappropriate and was incorrect. I saw a lot of myself in the narcissist because that is what the narcissist does, and that's why you can't get through to them. They have a bad reality testing, they have a bad awareness of reality. They don't test reality properly. They are delusional. They have a disordered mind, and that's why when you tell them the facts, they gaslight you and they jumble it around and make it your fault. In their twisted mind, they really believe that because they are seeing reality in a completely different way than you are. Almost like a schizophrenic sees the world. It's really that serious. And that's why it was such a profound experience for me, because I noticed that even though, I don't consider myself having some kind of personality disorder, maybe some kind of ADHD or something, but I realized that the way I viewed the world was very illogical. It was very, my reality testing was not at its best. But, the narcissist is far gone. There's not much hope for them, especially because just on the fact that they don't believe there's anything wrong with them, right? That grandiosity, it's a cycle. What dealing with a narcissist does for you is that it makes you aware of your own cycles of bad patterns of thinking, and the intensity of the experience allows you to break out of them and allows you to become a better person. I really don't think the world, God, whatever you want to call it, makes mistakes. You met that person, it's not some kind of spiritual energy thing. It's just straight facts that the way you were living your life led you to run into those type of people. They were able to use you because you were unaware of certain parts of reality, and now that you've dealt with them, you have been traumatized, you have gone through bad things, but you are not a disordered person. You have the ability to overcome them and become a stronger person.